excited to have you on. You've always impressed us. We've always loved it. Well, yeah, we're just excited to have you on.
Thank
We're
you.
excited. Two excited Meerkats. Everyone, welcome.
Indeed.
Changing it up, everyone. I'm Gabby Jordan Brown.
And I am Lukas Arnold. We have another kick-ass guest for you today, a fantastic comedian. We're going to talk about his name in a minute because we've just hit with a bombshell.
A huge bombshell. We don't know anything anymore. The whole time I thought this man's name was Bo Ballew. He signs on William Ballew. William?
Exactly.
What are you, my dad?
Exactly.
What are you, my dad, Bo?
Exactly, because only dads get named William. But please give a round of applause for a very fantastic comedian, Bo Ballew.
For my dad, William Ballew.
Yes,
thank you.
Your dad.
So my legal name is William, actually. I was birth certificate, everything, William Ballew. My dad went to Auburn University in the 80s, and he was there at the same time as a football player named... That sounded cool.
That
I thought that was a sound effect on urine for a second. I was like, oh,
could you imagine? We were like, my dad went to Auburn. Aww.
Oh, sorry. That's a motorcycle outside my place.
Yeah. I realized that after a second, but at first I was like, oh, okay, you guys got the works going. Wow. Okay.
I wish that we had like a soundboard to just like do some drops, just like Auburn.
That would be kind of awesome.
I bet I could download an app. I'm gonna download an app while you keep telling us about about your legal name.
So you're not going to be present in conversation. Okay, that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah,
No.
Oh no, I heard that. Oh no. Believe me, I heard that loud and crystal clear. William, loud and crystal clear.
But my dad was there in the 80s at the same time as a football player named Bo Jackson. Fun fact about Bo Jackson, his birth name is Vincent. Bo doesn't really come from anything. You know what I mean?
Huh.
But
okay.
But when my mom was pregnant with me, my parents were kind of debating a name, and they both liked the name Bo, but my mom for some reason didn't want to put it on the birth certificate.
Why not? What was her reasoning? Was it too short or
didn't meet the letter requirement or
yeah.
Yeah, William's also kind of like a family name too. Like I'm one of like 5 dudes in my family named William who are actively alive. You know? Whoa. Yeah.
Is it all like one male line? Is it your dad, granddad? Is it like that? No, or what is it?
So it's my cousin's name, he goes by Baker. His name's William. My grandpa's name, he went by Bill, but his name was William. If I remember correctly, my dad's middle name is William. I don't want to... I hope he doesn't hear that because he'd probably be offended if I was like, you don't know what my middle name is.
It's very offensive.
I genuinely thought that you were going to say he's offended by his own middle name. He hates it.
Also, I love that it's a family name. No one's allowed to use it.
Yeah, no one does. I have my cousin. She had a kid a couple years ago. His name is William. He goes by, I think, Willie.
Okay.
So he goes by the closest to it of anyone who is alive right now.
That's very sweet. Yeah, but I think it's interesting that you have like a family secret, which is just like everyone's called William. That's your family secret. Some people, it's like, oh, this isn't the father. Oh, your mother's actually your sister. But no, it's just everyone's called William. I find that very sweet. But yeah, what you said though about like your name, that reminded me of something, which is that I saw online someone made a meme about someone who's Asian, whose last name is only 3 letters. Maybe Cho, but they were signing up for something online, but they said, please, your last name has to have at least 8 letters. And this person was like, this is racism.
Whoa, that kind of is though, right?
It is though.
It's not. Well, it's also like racist against everyone with names with less than 8 letters. Like it's racist. Like, we all don't qualify for that.
Oh yeah,
no, yeah, we'd all be out.
I just realized,
What kind of form was this? What was?
I have no idea. It was just some sort of
sign up for the 8-letter name club.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So
They were applying for a job at one of the hedge funds that are going bankrupt right now.
Okay, so
And
let's
they
talk
only-
about this because
Yeah.
Bo told us before we started recording that he is now a stock expert because
I didn't say it's expert.
Yes. He invented stocks. He wrote the book. He can
he's been
tell you
alive
anything you
since
need to know.
1929.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually am Mr. Stock Market reincarnated as.
Yeah.
Yeah. John D. Rockefeller is his daughter. Let's get into it. So.
Yeah.
John T. Rockefeller is trans. I love that.
Who knew?
Oh, a beautiful trans
Who
woman.
knew?
Let's accept her for who she is, which is a multi-billionaire prick. Okay.
Top 5 anime crossovers.
I got the sound effects board that we can employ. I was trying to employ it lightly, but I feel like I wasn't coming through in my mic. We can employ it as you explain the stock market. Like, for example, if you're like, and the billionaires lost out, I could be like, did you hear that?
Ooh, I heard that.
Ooh,
Okay, nice.
That's a good one.
When I say and the billionaires lost, you should find like a big like uproarious applause or something that we play. Like so I started hearing about this yesterday. I was in a work meeting and some guy on my team, we're all meeting over Zoom. He says his roommate is a day trader, and he started talking about how like meme stocks are like, or stonks are like rising right now, which is like the stocks that are up right now are like GameStop, Bed Bath and Beyond, Nokia, BlackBerry, Blockbuster, like those stocks. So there's a that was very good.
Was that a burp?
It was.
No,
it was
the guy go, oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Go on.
So there's this practice, and again, I don't really know anything. This is all like kind of just my internet research and stuff over the last like day and a half.
You know more than us.
Yeah, way more than us.
But there's this practice in like hedge funds and stuff called shorting stock, which is kind of like these people essentially betting on a stock going down. So what they do is they like borrow like stock, like for example, GameStop, the big one. They like borrow this stock from someone and then sell it at a low price, assuming it's going to drop more. So they buy it back at a lower price, give it back to the person they borrowed it from, and then they keep the difference. So it's like it's a risky like bet for them, but they're betting that it's going to go down and make more money. So I don't know how people kind of pick up on when a stock is being shorted, but somehow people were figuring out that these hedge fund assholes were doing this, betting that businesses were going to collapse, kind of like they did with the housing market, I think, in 2008, same kind of deal.
Whoa.
So I think it's something similar. I don't know if it's exactly the same kind of practice, but so there's this subreddit called Wall Street Bets, which is just like really like insane kind of, it's a really fun subreddit to follow, but like they kind of someone caught on to this and like rallied the masses of these people to start buying GameStop stock to raise the value of it. Because when you short these stocks like these guys were doing, they still have to give the stock back. So now they have to buy the stock at a higher price and give it back to the person they borrowed it from. So they're having to buy back stock at a higher price and give it back to the person they borrowed it from. So as the stock goes up, these people lose money.
I think that was the borrowing part was the thing I didn't understand before. What was confusing to me as like a civilian who doesn't know any of this shit was like, you basically take the stock from someone else, but you have to give it back. So the idea is that the value is going to drop, but if it doesn't drop, you still owe it to these people. They're not going to be like, no, don't give me that stock back, right?
Right.
Yeah, because of course, as it goes up, they want the stock back. Again, I want to preface all this by saying I know nothing. This is all like I've been on the internet a lot and asked a lot of questions.
Everyone, he has degrees from all the top universities in economics. He knows everything he's talking about. He has a Nobel Prize in mathematics as well. Listen to everything he says. Take it as gospel. Write biographies about this moment.
Once again, remember his daughter is John D. Rockefeller.
That's true. Yeah.
Indeed. I didn't know that there was this whole sort of conniving, sort of sneaky process of like borrowing, and so basically it's just sort of throwing a wrench in the works of a plan, basically.
Yeah. So it's like it was kind of cut on to this kind of stuff happens all the time, I've learned, but now with the internet and with like people kind of catching on to this, like it's kind of like the people fighting back a little bit, like so it's almost like in a way we're kind of experiencing like class warfare a little bit, you know what I mean? That's what's so crazy about this whole thing. It's like these hedge fund and billionaires and all that kind of stuff, like they closed like a lot of these like apps that made investing accessible to people, like Robinhood and all that kind of stuff, like prevented people from buying these meme stocks, which were like GameStop and AMC and stuff. So like it, quote unquote, free market doesn't really exist, because now that these billionaires are being hurt by the actions of the common man is being prevented from investing.
Whoa. I'll be honest, when you said that this is essentially class, oh wait, what can you
class warfare?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the fucking billionaires being like, come on! Come on!
I love that. Thing is, like, when you said class warfare, I immediately thought, oh, they're gonna write like a new Les Mis about this. But instead of people like,
do you hear the people sing? They are writing the stock market.
Yeah, it's like Les Mis, but with memes is what we're going through right now.
Les memes.
I think. I think class warfare is probably a bit dramatic, and but it is like people kind of fighting back against like billionaires and stuff. And again, I know nothing. I just
don't offend the billionaires. Plenty of them listen to this. You wouldn't want to offend them.
I just have a doctorate in finance. That's all I have. I'm from Harvard. I mean, who am I? But
and Jeff Bezos is literally behind you. So
yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
him,
It does look like Bezos now that you say that. The stonks guy.
I like that he went with the Van Gogh look. You know, nice and smooth, no ears.
No ears.
Yeah.
It is a good look for Bezos. As his brain grows bigger, the orifices on his face grow smaller. And he just
smaller until they're non-existent.
He's like Violet Beauregard and Charlie of the Chocolate Factory, just her arms and everything just receding within the blueberry body. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just all brain. He's just
it's so funny to me. Today. It's so funny to me. This whole thing is like, I didn't even know anything about the stock market, but just the fact that like these people now want regulation. Like they now want everything. That's what's killing me.
That's what's so funny about this.
It's like, now we have to listen to people. Oh,
yeah, that's what's so amazing. All these fucking these guys are like, if people just invested their money, they could do what we're doing. Like the market doesn't need regulation and all that stuff. And now that people are investing their money, they don't want people to invest their money, and they want regulation in the market so they can keep the status quo. It's like, it's the free market and capitalism is a curtain you're hiding behind to like keep you rich and keep everyone else where everyone else is. It's
oh my God, I can't believe what you're saying. Are you saying that the systems that be are not trying to help us all get rich? Is that what you're crazy, saying,
right? I know. It's almost like I'm saying capitalism's flawed. Who am I? Wow.
You guys are insane. I'm literally a future billionaire in the waiting off of comedy and podcasting.
But you do have a Keep America Great flag hanging up behind you, and you said, "Stop the steal." Then you just chatted that to us, and I'm like, whoa.
I did. I was at the Capitol. I was just there. The funniest thing is when people got caught like being at the Capitol riots and they were like, "Oh no, but I was just there to support." It's like, well, you were there. Like, it's no different.
Yeah, just because
you still got a contact high of the white supremacy.
Yeah, just
they're like getting booked on a show and you're in the audience. Like, oh, I'm just here to support.
Yeah,
come on,
a booked audience member.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a year this 2021 has been. I kind of thought it would be like, maybe it was naive to think it would settle down a little bit, but man, this has been crazy. You could tell we've been quarantined for a long time.
I will say that this year started off more interesting, and that I think last year started off very chaotically because like there was like Australia fires, there was Kobe's death, there was like it was very dark. Whereas this January, it's interesting to say the least. It's definitely destructive, but I think it's more interesting than it is just like purely dark.
For sure. Well, we've had I feel like there have been 3 big events this year. It's been the storming of the Capitol by MAGAs, the Biden inauguration, and the Wall Street fiasco of the last 48 hours or whatever. And 2 of those things have been more positive than they have been negative.
Yeah.
Right.
So the Capitol, right?
Yeah, that being the Capitol being the most positive, followed by the stock market, followed by Biden. And that,
guys, it was a stolen election. If you guys, this is a red podcast. You can't see it, but we've airbrushed Gabby's MAGA hat right now. It's
yeah, no, it's on my head. It's just when I move around, Lucas's Photoshop skills are so good that no one can tell. I'm
a wizard.
She moves and it stays on her head. It doesn't even lag to catch up or anything. It's quite impressive.
It's really impressive.
Exactly.
What I think is so funny about people who wear MAGA hats is like, okay, wear your political hat to like, the store or whatever, but like people wear them to weddings, to funerals, and it's just a baseball cap. Like, just
tacky.
Go and show up in this weird baseball cap to like your mom's wedding. Like, what the fuck is wrong with
It's so
you?
tacky.
The thing that sticks in my mind is I feel bad for other kinds of red caps because it's basically just ruined red caps. Like, you can't wear
for sure. Like, you just can't wear a red hat anymore. Like, it kind of feels like for a while, like you would see an American flag and you would be like, oh, that's gross. You'd almost be like, that's like a Trump thing, but now it kind of feels like we're kind of getting the American flag back, which is good. I feel like we kind of lost that for a couple years.
As like another symbol is taking the heat. Yeah.
Yeah. But like hats are back forever. I love the American flag. I didn't mean to say that, but like, it feels like red hats.
But how much?
Do you have flag underwear? Be honest.
I would never hug and kiss a flag in a public setting. That's only
but in private.
Yeah. I do that in the comfort of my own home.
That makes me think, is there someone who has like a kink for their country's flag? There has to be. There has to be someone.
A Trumper of some sort, probably. I mean, right? Like, they brought those flags everywhere.
I remember around like the royal wedding back in 2011 for William and Kate. I remember on TV there were like lots of royal enthusiasts who had like every single kind of merchandise you could get for the royal family, like plates, curtains, clothes, like everything was decked out and like and themed with different royals. And I wonder if like there's someone who does that, but with the American flag. There has to be, though.
I'm sure. Are you guys like the type of people who like the royal family? Like, are you guys like interested?
I think Lukas is because he's like British,
Yeah. I remember I woke up early to watch both of the recent royal weddings for William and Harry. I watched them.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you. Would we have started this podcast together if I knew that about you? I
don't know, Gabby. Would we have? Tell me what you think. What's going on in your mind?
I wasn't a royal wedding person until like recently. I listened to a podcast about Princess Diana, and I was like, oh, she's kind of cool. She's just like a normal ass lady,
Yeah. The thing is, like, if I could just say, like, the thing is, like, obviously, like, I was born and raised here, but the thing is, like, when you're, I would say for a lot of people, when you're British, like, you really do kind of you think of the royal family almost a little bit like your own family, because you grow up with them, you learn everything about them, especially because like William and Harry, they went through such a tragedy when they're children, and you feel for them so much, and to see them like get married and they look so happy with women that love them and everyone loves you want to witness it and watch these people you care about do something.
Yeah,
nice
listen,
them,
I came up at Mike's with William and Harry, and to see how far they've come.
At the creek in the cave. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to go to the creek in the cave with William and Harry, and then we'd go to polo practice afterwards. It was really nice to see them have like.
We'd come up with bits playing squash. Yeah, did you, Bo? William?
I couldn't make it. I had a bar show.
Oh yeah, nah, I totally get it.
Yeah, I did too. That was the reason I couldn't go. It's not that I wasn't invited or anything. Yeah,
They totally got it. I told them I had 12 minutes, and they were like, "Word."
The headliner spot right there. You got those 12 minutes. Headliner spot. They were jealous of you.
12 minutes.
They were like, we got married.
And they were like, "You're getting paid right?" It was like 12 minutes, $15, and they were like, "Go!" Like,
what are you doing here, man?
Seat next to Oprah.
Yeah, a paid spot? What are you doing in London?
Oh, that's incredible. Oh,
or the English countryside or whatever. I will say, I just got back to New York. I was like at my parents' house on the West Coast for a little while. And my mom's super into The Crown. And like, I know The Crown's like dramatized and not completely accurate historically, but like kind of observing kind of that show. I'd never watched it, but I've heard it's great. And like just talking to my mom about the royal family, I'm like, oh yeah, this is really interesting. Like I could kind of get invested in some of this, like particularly with like Diana and stuff. Like, because my mom was in her like the same age as Diana, so my mom loves Diana.
Oh, I'm obsessed with The Crown. I love the show so much.
Oh, I've never seen it. What's the draw of The Crown, Lucas?
The draw of The Crown, it's very tasty. It's a very tasty show. It's well seasoned. No, but it's just really cool to like, it's out. Yeah. Like Bo said, it's a dramatization. It's not like 100% fact, but it does very closely go along with the events that we all know that members of the royal family went through, like trips to Australia and coronations and stuff. Like it all matches up, and it's just very fun to sort of like, it's like a peek behind the curtain to showing you like what drama might have happened behind closed doors, between like, it's very often marital troubles that people go through. And like with Princess Diana, like basically in season 4, you basically see her get like really isolated and sort of almost abused by the royal family. Like, and you see her just like spiral into depression, which we all know that she went through. So it's like, it's sort of like not necessarily wish fulfillment, but it's like going, oh yes, this is what I always thought was going on behind closed doors. Like it's sort of like the argument you wished you could have had, and like sort of thinking what do you think what went on? If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's kind of like kind of what my mom was telling me, just kind of like the shit like they put Diana through and stuff, because she was just like a lady, right? She was just like a normal person living in London and shit, and then like kind of got sucked into the world of it all, and
I think
really mesh with it.
I think she was like 18 or 19 when she got married. She was a kid.
Yeah, she was 19.
Yeah, and Charles was 30, I think.
Yeah, he was super old.
Yeah, that's weird.
I listened to a podcast about it, and basically they were like, the reason he never married Camilla until later and he married Diana was because they set aside this weird rule for him that like whoever he was with had to be a virgin, which is so funny because like obviously he wasn't, but like it was like not only like anyone who was a virgin, but it was like a virgin of a certain class who like it's basically like going on the market, and the podcast was like, it's basically looking for the perfect salmon scented candle because there's like 2 of them on the market maybe, and you found the best one. But it's like, if you don't want a salmon scented candle, maybe like expand your parameters for any other candle that you like. And the candle he wanted was Camilla.
Is it so? Sorry, go ahead.
No, one small thing is that I've seen, because like after The Crown, I got like a little bit obsessed with the royal family. I watched like a bunch of documentaries, and one thing you learn is that the royal family, the House of Windsor specifically, which is like the recent royal family that we all know, beginning at around like 1900, is that they're very ruthless, and they're all sort of focused on the survival of the family, that the family is their identity, and they don't really exist as individuals, that they exist to serve and continue the family. And that's why they, and I don't, it's not like to be, but like that's the reason why they were so stringent and with like who could marry into the family, so that they weren't like scandalous, that they were exactly the right kind of person. That's why they're basically so inhuman to their kids and who they can marry and stuff.
Butts. Yeah, I think that's why Diana was so popular, because she was just like, she didn't have a big old, she was a person, stick up her ass. Normal. Yeah,
she just like to like hang and like just exist. Like, isn't that like, so like when like because it was Harry's the one who married Meghan Markle, right?
Yes.
Or is that William? Harry?
Yeah.
So like they kind of left the royal family, right? Like they're like not really part of it anymore. So that was probably caused a lot of like tension, I'm guessing.
Oh, no doubt. But I'm so glad that I'm happy that they reached that decision, because like no doubt that like Meghan Markle did not feel welcome. Like tabloid media was like super racist against her, and like I'm just very happy that Harry was like, yeah, I'm sticking by my woman. This if you're mean to her, you're mean to me. We're a unit now, so I stick with her. And I was like, yes, do your thing.
Solidarity.
Really, yeah, exactly.
I just think it's so crazy how like Meghan Markle was just an actress on Suits, and then she just met Harry.
Like a middling TV show, like not even like a big TV show, like a USA TV show, like a TV show my parents would watch when nothing was on TV. You know,
it's like the TV show you like go to your friend's house and like your friend's mom is like watching it on her couch, and like if you're the kind of kid like I was, where you like hang out with the moms instead of the friends, you're like, what are you watching? They're like, it's this great show called Suits, and you never imagined that bitch from Suits would marry fucking Prince Harry, who, by the way, I never thought was cute. I never thought any of them were cute. They were just rich. Oh my God. That reminds me.
Gabby.
Wait. Oh my God.
No one was saying Gabby. No one was saying Gabby thinks that Harry is attractive. No one.
I never said I was like maligned.
Wait, so you don't think Prince William's a smoke? I think that dude is sexy. Prince William with pretty
crazy that he cheated on Kate Middleton, who's like one of the hottest bitches alive.
Yeah, she's hot. Yeah. I didn't know that. Infidelity. That's fun. I'm interested.
Well, Gabby, what were you gonna say?
Sorry.
I was gonna say, oh my God, what was I gonna say?
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It was something about was it Suits? What was it? Now I can't remember. It must not have been very important.
What's funny is that well, I have two things to say. The funniest thing is that when we found out that like Meghan Markle and Harry were going to get married, that was when my dad said, Suits is a pretty good show. Like that was when he was like, it's a good show, you should watch. That was when he just recommended Suits to me. But another thing is that Meghan Markle went to my college, and I saw
What college is that?
Northwestern University.
He's
in Chicago?
Yep.
Ooh, classy.
But yeah, my old voice and speech professor, she posted on Facebook saying, "I'm so proud of Meghan. I remember when I used to teach her. What a talented student she was, rising up in the world she is."
Okay, but here's a controversial take. I don't understand why anyone is like, when people get married, people are like, "Congratulations." I don't know how getting married is an accomplishment. Like, if you
what is the proper thing to say to someone who just tied the knot?
Congratulations, you're banging under the law now.
That's true. Or approved.
Or where's the open bar?
Yeah. Wait, what do you think we should say instead? Just instead of congratulations, what do you think is the more apt? Yeah.
Just like
go up to the couple and fist bump and say "sick," and then walk away.
That's nice.
You could say "good for you." You could say that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I buy that.
Maybe it's just because I've never had a close friend get married. Like, I don't know what you guys' experience are with like going to weddings, but the 2 weddings I've been to have been like really ridiculous and hilarious. Like the first one was like a really weird wedding where it was clear like the 2 people like kind of were rushing to marry each other, and the groom was handing out like the wine at his own wedding, like telling everyone about the wine and like the notes of oak in it. And he also said, he was like, this wine has,
so excited to do that.
This wine has notes of wet leather, which is like probably the gayest thing you could say.
That doesn't sound like a taste I want to try.
He was a little queer coded. I was like, honey, he's gay. Like, but I was the +1. You know, it was like
you
my
can't say that. Yeah.
It was my ex's friend, so I couldn't say anything. But I wouldn't have. I was like agreeing with my ex at the time. I was like, oh my God, this guy's gay and they're getting married. But then they like had a full on fight afterwards because like
at the wedding.
Because they were gonna, you know how the groom usually like bites the garter off? They weren't gonna do that because they thought it was progressive. Yeah. She was gonna like throw the garter into the audience, but he was in the bathroom when like the planner or whatever decided that it had to happen, and she didn't pull him out. No one pulled him out of the bathroom, so she just threw the garter without him. And he fucking freaked out. He had a huge fight, and everyone watched. It was so funny. That was the first wedding I went to in my adult life, and the second wedding I went to was my old babysitters to some random guy, and like crazy like biting mosquito bugs like swarmed the entire venue, and my mom and I left like 4 hours early. Like, fuck this. So those are the 2 weddings I've been to in my adult life.
I
have a question. No, but Bo, go first.
I've been to a couple of weddings as an adult. Like my sister got married recently.
Nice.
Like over the summer, she got married.
Her. Not congrats, but good for her.
Hey,
there we go.
Sister, sick.
Yeah, sick. And it was so it was like during COVID, so they were gonna have like a big wedding and wound up not doing it over the summer. But like so it was just like whatever, like her husband's immediate family, and then our immediate family in a backyard, and it was great. It was like I was nice. Like, oh, this is like what a wedding should be. It was like really
that's sweet, a good wedding,
and like it was really nice. And then I was in a wedding, I guess probably like 2 years ago now. I'm from the South, so people get married young there, you know, like but I was in a wedding 2 years ago, and again, it was like a more traditional, like big wedding and stuff. And it was nice. It was sweet. It was fun. I was hammered. So I feel like weddings, like I don't really buy the whole like ceremony of it or whatever, but like if they are kind of sweet, you know, I get it, you know?
Yeah. It's just a nice, it's just like, oh, these people have hope and they wanted, it's a nice thing to share. Yeah.
It's not to say I didn't cry at both of those ridiculous weddings.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
you're just the most cold person in the world.
I'm ice cold. No, it's funny. I want to get married someday, but I don't want to get congratulated. It's like, cool. No. I found a person who's hot and funny and my speed, but like, why congratulate me if I'm like Greta Thunberg and save the world, you know?
Gabby, would you like, okay, let's say both me and Bo are at your wedding in the future. Would you like
which we will be. I'd be
yes, which you will be. Fuck yeah. You guys can do a roast.
Oh, but I was gonna ask, like, do you think it would be good if you asked everyone to come up to you and your spouse and be like, I'm sorry for your loss, instead of congratulations? Instead of congratulations.
That'd be pretty good.
Actually, at the wedding I went to where the groom was kind of gay, his best friend stood up and was like, Jill, put your hand down. Eric, put your hand on her hand. That's the last time you'll ever have the upper hand. And everyone was like, and I was like, I need 10 more drinks.
Yeah,
40 more drinks. My ex got so mad at me because I got so drunk at this wedding.
Wait, Gabby, I do have a question. So the wedding you went to where this the groom was like possibly gay, you said, if you weren't the +1, if you were instead like directly invited, would you have been like gay? just like really loud about it?
It would depend how close I was. to this person. I don't know, man. I don't know how to interact in quarantine anymore. Like, I can't even imagine a situation where, like, I am socially involved enough to, like, make a funny joke, because I feel like it would just go so badly because I don't know how to interact with human beings anymore.
Oh, yeah.
If it were, like, my best friend, I would have to, like, approve the spouse, and if I approved, I obviously wouldn't yell gay in the middle of it. Who's to say?
Yeah, I haven't thought about it, but I did think, what will be the first wedding be like? Let's say post-pandemic, everyone's allowed to not wear masks again. Like, what that first wedding back to normal will be like, if people are going to be like dancing or hugging, like how comfortable people are going to be like.
Vaccine themed, Moderna and Pfizer centerpieces.
Oh, everyone's going to be doing shots. Everyone's gonna. That was a bad pun. I hate myself. That wasn't even.
The shots are in like a syringe. It's like one of those things like one you'd see on Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
Oh yeah, like whatchamacallit, that steakhouse where you can get like a chocolate syringe. What's that place called? Do you remember?
Top Golf.
Top Golf?
No, Top Golf has like little donut holes with like chocolate syringes you can stick.
Oh, that's nice. Now I want one. They're
really good.
That's just something I really love now.
Yeah, Top Golf is not a steakhouse. I was just kidding. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
What's the other place that has those chocolate syringes? Max Brenner.
That's it, Max Brenner. That's the name. I forgot that. Thank you.
Oh,
that's
that
exactly
place is good. That's a casualty of the pandemic because it was always packed in there.
Has it closed? Has it closed like for good, or is it just...
I don't know, but I can't imagine anyone getting like chocolate takeout. Like, hi, I want 15 chocolate syringes. I want to inject it in my veins in place of Moderna.
I'll have a bunch of chocolate syringes to go.
That weirdly would be a good marketing campaign. It'd be like, while you're waiting for the vaccine, may we interest you in a chocolate syringe?
Chocolate syringe.
It won't cure you, but it won't do much.
But it'll pass the time.
You can hate yourself while you eat it. Chocolate syringes.
I'm just imagining someone listening to like, what's that Donnie Darko song? It's like, all around me are familiar
Mad
faces.
World.
Mad World. They're just fucking shooting up chocolate.
I love that movie, yeah.
Donnie Darko fan out here.
I've never seen Donnie Darko.
I this was like an anniversary of it. I haven't seen it since like high school, but I was definitely one of those people in high school. I was like, God, I love Donnie Darko. Like,
yeah, wait, what were you like in high school? Like, where was your friend group? Like, where were you in the cafeteria, etc., etc.?
Oh, yeah. I'm writing down a question because I have a follow-up, but go on, Bo.
Okay, so the question being like, what was I like in high school?
Yes.
Well, like I said earlier, I'm nothing but a doctorate in finance from Harvard. So I spent
Thank you for reminding us.
So you were born and then you went to Harvard.
I spent most of my time partying and stuff because I was like, this is below me. This is beneath me. Education. Right. I just need money. Mm-hmm. No, no. I had a good group of friends. I had a good time in high school. I enjoyed high school, but I was definitely like one of those people who's like, I love Fight Club, and which is still a good movie, but like Fight Club, Donnie Darko, and like, oh, you listen to what's on the radio, you have no taste. Like,
you're
kind of like a pretentious asshole. Yeah.
So wait,
which still exists in me, but I toned it down.
well, I wanted to ask, that was when I read what I wrote down, is what do you think is the biggest difference between you now and you in high school? Would you say it's the sort of pretentious sort of vibe, or something else maybe?
I think biggest difference between now and high school. Oh, that's tough. I mean, I think there's a lot. I think I've experienced a lot of like ego death since high school. I think I was probably a bit more probably like struggling to find the words here. I'm probably like more confident now, which is weird to say after having like an ego death, but now I just like feel more myself rather than like trying to impress other people. That's it. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
That's a perfect answer.
I get you, because I think ego is arrogance and arrogance is not confidence. I think the bell curve is like purely like unconfident and then confident, and then it goes back to like narcissism, but narcissism is on the same like x-axis as unconfidence because it's both like overcompensating for shit.
Yeah.
Like I remember like talking to my, like arguing with my dad in high school and just saying to myself, I'm 18, I know everything. You know what I mean? Like this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I was like, I'm an adult, I'm 18. And I've been humbled a lot since then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's good. Yeah. You sound like you're coming down from like a really educational mushroom trip. This is awesome.
Those have definitely helped on this journey of high school to now. Yeah.
I'm scared to take hallucinogens. Like I like weed and everything, but I feel like so anxious that I don't know if mushrooms or acid would help me at all. Do you think I should try it?
I remember the first time I tried acid right? I was
so excited.
I was walking around a music festival, and I remember before I had taken it, I heard this quote from Steve Jobs that said like psychedelics show you the other side of the coin that is life, and that everyone should take psychedelics. Something along those lines. And I was like, that's dumb. And then I was on acid and I was like, no, he's right.
So wait, what was the other side of the coin like? Because I've never taken hallucinogens either.
So the other side of, look, I mean, it's a very like abstract idea, I guess. So it's not like I just tell people like when I was like kind of figuring myself out, like my shit, I used to tell people like I was going to war with myself and I was losing the war. And then I took psychedelics, and then I was like, oh, I'm on a journey with myself. And I was like, I feel like that kind of is kind of emblematic of that like other side, right? Because it's like, it's not like I saw like an alternate universe or something. It just kind of like made things click a little differently, I guess, kind of just abstractly, the other side being that, I guess.
That's beautiful.
So nice.
There are times
in
life, I think, where we feel like a war with ourselves, you know, and as it turns out,
100%.
we are. That's why I kind of hate the concept of like selfishness, because like we are ourselves. So it's kind of natural for us to be like a little selfish. Like we're not going to be altruistic.
To on some level act in your own self-interest.
Yes, and also just like not everything is selfish. If you're not talking about like hoarding billions of dollars on the stock market by like betting against GameStop.
No, we're not talking about greed or anything, but just being able, taking care of yourself first so that you can then serve those you love and concepts that you love.
Yes.
Yeah, like everyone deserves to be happy, you know, like, and like, so it's like if you aren't happy, you're probably not making other people happy. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you like feel good about yourself or enjoy life, like you should, like everyone's entitled to like do things they enjoy and treat themselves.
And you can't properly love someone until you love yourself. You have to have a full well before you can give to other people. And that's why you should give people their condolences when they get married instead of congratulations. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, and that's also why you should go buy GameStop stock right now.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. No. Yeah.
Come on!
There we go. That was awesome.
Love this new keyboard.
Wait, Gabby.
Yeah, that's great.
When do you think? At what point in life do you feel like you were at most war with yourself?
Oh, definitely high school. Woof! I was, I think middle school. I was like having fun because, like, you know, I knew I was kind of like gawky and awkward, but I thought I was some kind of mega genius. And then high school, like everything I did, like nobody liked anything I did. You know, I was kind of like a Rory Gilmore nerd in like a school of like Euphoria teens who were all like, had done all the cocaine and all the acid in the world, which I would get there, but I wasn't there yet, you know? And it was like so hard to not be so cringe, and everyone was so serious and I was so weird, and it was just the absolute, like I blamed myself, which is natural, you know, you're in an environment of people and usually when you're in an environment of people, you think they're on your side. So when they're against you, you're like, what did I do? And it took me so many years to be like, I didn't do anything. These people are just fucking wacky, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What about you, Lucas?
I would say for me, when I was most at war with myself was the beginning of high school, because up until then, a lot of my ego is tied to my academic success. And I tied a lot of like my opinions of other people by how they did academically. And I would because the thing is like growing up, I felt very compared to a close friend of mine growing up, who's just like this perfect kid, perfect student, who I'm still close friends with, but I felt very inadequate in comparison to her because she was like good at reading. I was not good at reading. I was just very envious of her, and I would belittle other people by how worse they were doing academically than me, until my friend Brian in high school, very beginning of high school, he was like, Lucas, you're being an asshole. If you want friends, you have to stop this. And it was such a shock to my system that it made me really reevaluate stuff. And I consider that the point where I just started becoming the person I am now. Like that was
nice.
That was the switch. And it was one of the most valuable things I've ever been told.
What a good friend.
Oh yeah.
That is such a good friend. I think the best friends are the people who will tell you straight up, like, you are being an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's the hardest thing to do. Right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're telling an asshole they're an asshole, they're probably going to be an asshole about it.
Yeah. But I was really lucky because like everyone it was only within like the first like couple weeks of high school that I was told this, but I was able to apologize and be forgiven by everyone who I'd like made feel bad. And so I was very grateful for that.
I think it's interesting because we all grow up with this messaging that's like, you know, the popular kids are so like mean, and the nerdy kids are so great, and so it's actually the nerdy kids who are like the biggest bullies, or at least I was, because I thought that anything I said to like a girl prettier than me was, and this is such straight girl behavior, I thought anything I said was like would not be received because she couldn't feel it if she was prettier or more popular than me. But everyone feels it, of course. Everyone.
Everyone has feelings. Yeah, that's a big day.
Realizing everyone has feelings. Oh
yeah. The big moment, the big like light bulb moment for me was when I realized that other people didn't have it all figured out. I was like, oh, nobody has it figured out. Oh,
when was that?
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't until after college, because I mean, I was like in high school and I had it all figured out. Then I went to college, and then like the world started throwing me things that I didn't have the answers to, but I continued to pretend that I had the answers to. And then it wasn't really until I moved to New York and like kind of like went through living in New York and doing comedy that like first year where I was like, oh my God, I know nothing. Like that was like the big like ego death, kind of coming back to that, is like when I was like, because it was like, oh, I'm gonna be in New York, everything's gonna line up like that, which is like, and it absolutely did not, you know. So it was like, that's when I was like, oh, like that was huge.
I do have a question, Bo. What advice would you give to yourself having just moved to New York, or right before moving to New York? What advice would you give to yourself at that point?
I don't know. That's tough because I feel like I didn't really have a work ethic until I moved to New York. So part of me like, but like in terms of like, because I was like, oh, I just want to be a comedian, so I'm gonna become a comedian. I didn't really realize that it took work. For the first little bit that I lived here, I was like, oh, I moved here, so it's going to happen. Not, oh, I moved here and I have to work to make it happen. But I also was like working myself to death once I started doing it. You know, that like comedian, like beat yourself into the ground and then continue to beat yourself to death. like that's what I was for a while. I think honestly, probably like I would try and encourage myself to live a little more holistically than I did for a while.
That's very beautiful advice. That's very, very good.
Holistically, how?
Yeah, like obviously like continue to put in the work to do, but like that's all I was doing. I was like neglecting friendships. I had like family who lived in New York who no longer does, that I wasn't spending as much time with. That in hindsight I wish I did, like that kind of stuff. Like you know, like go to more concerts. I loved going to concerts, and I was like part of moving to New York. I was like concerts, like every band is here, and then I never went to concerts and stuff like that kind of stuff. I would just encourage to like kind of take more time to do stuff like that.
Take advantage. Yeah.
Wow.
It's so hard. There really aren't enough hours in the day. Like we all want to do everything. There's really not. And it feels like everyone's seen every TV show and everyone's read every book, you know, like it's so
I also do you guys also feel like you have an ever-growing list of shows that you get recommended to watch?
Oh my,
and you're never going to get to
right now.
Yeah.
I have a list on my phone right now, and I'm like, oh my god. So okay, so I just watched Queen's Gambit, and after that, now I have to watch Peaky Blinders. Okay, like you know, like the list just keeps growing.
I'm in the middle of both, by the way. I haven't finished either. I'm in the
Queen's Gambit.
Oh, Queen's Gambit's fun. Yeah, that show is great.
Oh no, I love it, and I'm in the middle of it, but I haven't finished it yet. And I really want
to. My brother and I watched it in like 2 days. We could not turn it off. It was so good.
Chess hot. Like I don't understand.
I'm playing chess on my phone with friends now. I'm terrible at it, but I'm trying to figure it out. Like I play chess on my phone. Like chess, it did make chess look really cool. It was kind of nice.
I downloaded an app to learn how to play chess. 100%.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like it gives me these daily challenges and stuff, and I'm like, it's like I'm trying to like read hieroglyphics or something. I'm like, what the fuck does? So this one I can move here, but now there's a piece there and I can't move. I'm like, what the fuck? How do I do this game? It's so confusing.
It's funny. I know all the rules of chess, but I'm just not patient enough to like look at, 5 moves ahead or whatever. I'm just like, let me take this pawn right now. Fucking rules. I took your pawn.
Yeah.
Then they're like, checkmate. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, you baited me and I took it. Damn
it. Do you guys know Alex Richards?
Yes.
Australian comedian. Yeah, so Alex Richards, I was on his Twitch live stream show, and we both found out that we both got into Sudoku at the same time. Like we both started playing Sudoku.
Oh, I love Sudoku.
And exactly the same versions of the game as well, which is a version called Killer Sudoku, which has like extra boxes within like the regular ones.
Oh wow! So you're deep.
We're very deep. We got obsessed.
We need like a Sudoku's Gambit with Lukas and Alex.
Just people with a pen, just like racing it real quick, tight zooms on the eraser and
taking Percocet and seeing like Sudoku on their ceiling at night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. With just the most attractive people in the world playing Sudoku.
I'm trying to think like who is hot enough but also looks like they play Sudoku. That's a narrow Venn diagram.
Natalie Portman, I think.
Maybe.
She kind of looks like she plays Sudoku. Really?
I don't see Natalie Portman. I don't know why, but I don't see Natalie Portman.
Because they struck that with Anya Taylor-Joy with Queen's Gambit so well, because you're like, she's hot, but like she does look like she could be good at chess too. Like it doesn't look like So it's like who's someone who I don't know, that's tough casting.
That's very I'm going through like old Nickelodeon stars. I want to see Drake Bell do it.
Oh, I want to see Josh Peck do it. I want to see play Sudoku on his phone.
I'd probably go with Angry Steve from the movie theater. Josh's manager at the movie theater. That was his name, right?
Yes, Angry Steve.
Or Crazy Steve or whatever his name was, the older brother from iCarly.
He would do a great job. He would play some good Sudoku. And he was kind of cute. Wait, I'm gonna pee and look for think about more people who might be good at it.
Okay. Yeah. By the way, Bo, I don't know if you know this, but Gabby goes to the bathroom every single time for at least like the past 5 episodes, I think, that she's gone to the bathroom during the recording.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I whenever I like do a podcast or something, I'm always nervous about like, all right, go to the bathroom right before. Like,
oh yeah,
like we're gonna try and make a whole podcast without not going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I was on a podcast one time where I went to the bathroom 3 times. I was like, I'm so sorry.
Well, how long was the podcast?
It was like a long one. It was like a 2.5 hour interview.
Wow.
But I was
okay, that's long.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a bathroom emergency for a stand-up show?
Not like do or die, but I've definitely been on stage and like had to run off to go use a bathroom, or right before I go, I'm like, oh fuck, I need to go now.
Yeah, because I never for a show, but I was on the way to an open mic in Prospect Park in Brooklyn, and I got diarrhea so quickly. And,
oh no!
And the thing is, like, because it's the pandemic, and so there aren't many bathrooms around, and so I was like,
God.
I was sweating bullets, but the thing is I found this like a hut with bathrooms, and magically I was able to use the bathroom and not like ruin my clothes. I was very impressed with how I handled it. I was also really happy that like the guy who used the bathroom before me, like the stall before me, he left it very clean. I was like, I'm glad you exist, that you leave bathrooms.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you exist in this world.
Did you tell Bo about my record?
I was trying to find many. Oh yeah, I was telling about your record, about how many. I was saying like the past 5 episodes, maybe.
I think so. It's because I keep drinking like tea or coffee or just diuretics in the middle of it, or wine. There was that episode with Zach that I drank like wine and beer because he was drinking wine and beer.
Yeah.
So you went like a lot.
I think I peed twice in that episode. I can't remember. I asked when I was in the bathroom through the door. I asked Sylvie which celebrity she thought would be in a Sudoku's Gambit, and she said Dakota Johnson. I don't know that I agree.
Ooh. That's interesting. That's definitely made me go, I don't know. That is a tough one.
I think I could see it.
Yeah, I could too.
I think she's more Checkers.
Checkers Gambit, please.
Hopscotch.
Water polo Gambit.
Water polo would have to be someone like jacked. You'd be like, oh, okay, that person.
What's the Game of Thrones guy, Jason Momoa? Like,
oh, Jason Momoa.
He'd be water polo for sure.
I was thinking like backgammon Gambit, like backgambit.
So it'd be like one word.
Yeah, backgambit.
We gotta write this.
Does it have a question mark at the end?
Yeah, I feel like this is a sketch where you like just see like the sexiest versions of every single board game.
Yeah, like once you run out of board games, you get into like D&D and like that kind of stuff too.
Hungry Hippos.
Hungry Hippos, arcade games, Pac-Man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pinball Gambit.
There is a movie that is kind of like that though. Yeah,
which movie?
Yeah, Tommy by the.
Oh Tommy? Yes, Tommy. They did that at my summer camp.
That movie is bananas. If you guys have never seen Tommy, I've
never seen Tommy.
Well, it's like an album, and then they made a movie, and it's where that song comes from. Like there's song is like there's this whole scene where Elton John is the pinball wizard, and then they compete, and they compete in pinball because the lead singer of The Who, I can't remember his name, is Tommy, and he's a deaf, dumb, and blind person. That's what it says in the song. This deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure can play
pinball.
Yeah. And then he plays this deaf, dumb, blind guy who's really good at pinball. It's hilarious. It's like a bad shit movie.
No, I remember I saw a stage version when I was in college, and you just see someone like playing pinball, just like not looking. And I was like, "What is going on?" And then they wanted the song. I was like, "This slaps though."
That song.
I like that you went in with no context. You were just like, "Why are they playing pinball without looking at the?" That's like. Okay, the other day, you guys know The Good Doctor, that show about the autistic doctor. So we watched The Bachelor, obviously, and every week after The Bachelor live, The Good Doctor plays. And Sylvie's looking at the screen. Yeah, every week, and she's like, "Yeah, why did they cast such a terrible actor for this role?
Is he not good?"
Well, I was like, babe, he's playing autistic.
Oh, and then Sylvie was like, "Oh, he's really good now."
No idea. Oh, I see.
Oh my god,
that's wild.
That reminds me. That reminds me of something. That it was actually the day after my uncle's wedding in 2013. It was kind of funny because like it was in the southwest of the UK, beautiful beachside castle. It was gorgeous.
And of course, afterwards, you said sorry for your loss.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, not congrats.
Yeah,
naturally,
the thing is, like the day of, it was the worst weather, rainy, cloudy, windy. It was awful. But the day before, the day after was just gorgeous and sunny with no wind at all. And the day after, we all went to the beach, me and my whole family. And my mom was pushing my grandmother in a wheelchair. And I was sitting next to my cousin Emil and my aunt's then boyfriend, now husband, Jacob. And I was talking to my cousin Emil, and I was like, and I said, "Oh, do you think Eve cannot get on the beach? Eve is our grandmother." And we were just looking over, and because my mom was having some trouble getting a wheelchair onto the sand, and Jacob, who didn't know the family as well, he's just a boyfriend at the time, he didn't know who Eve was, and so he thought that we were talking about a dog, and he said, "Oh, I don't think dogs are allowed on the beach." And then I just turned to him, and I was
so
like,
awkward.
And then I was like, "Jacob, that's our grandmother who's in the wheelchair," and he was just like, "Ah."
Your grandmother is a dog? What kind of family is this, damn it?
Yeah, could you imagine?
Very progressive.
He didn't piece together that she wasn't a dog still.
What are you guys, Airbud? No thanks.
It never said in the rules you couldn't marry a dog. Just
I mean, gay people are getting married. Everyone. I always thought that was such a funny argument. Like, it's a slippery slope. What's next? Dogs and humans? I'm like, no, only straight people do that. That's not.
That's hilarious. That's such a good point.
I've never heard of like a gay person or like a lesbian being like, I also sleep with dogs. Like, that's only straight people who do that.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It's only straight people who do that, but also use that as a slippery slope, that think that it's just like right at the same level, just like, oh, gay people, dogs, same level, just like.
It's straight people who like are afraid of their own tendencies. I feel like it's like, okay,
100%.
now that this has happened, what am I gonna do next? It's like no one's asking you. You're not quote unquote gay, remember?
It's like how every like reverend or something that runs a gay conversion camp is also gay. It's just that's just a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the movie is like they're gay at the end. It's like, well, at least give us a a surprise. Maybe the Reverend's been straight the whole time and just homophobic,
Yeah, you meet his wife and kids, and you're like, wait, what?
Wait, he loves these people? Shit.
Yeah, he has like genuine love for them. Like,
he's not repressing anything. Jeez, yeah. That did remind me of like this one story where I saw like did you guys see it? I used to watch Bill Maher a lot. I still do sometimes, but I saw his documentary Religulous, in which he interviewed this reverend who like was caught with a male prostitute. And it's just like, it's those stories that just make me smile. I smile a lot when I see people get caught if they're like very homophobic. I get a very warm feeling. I'm just like, oh, I'm glad. I'm just really glad.
I bet that was a great interview.
Oh yeah, it's the best. Oh.
I think I prefer seeing like the I don't know if you guys saw the interview where Rachel Dolezal got like caught as being white.
But I have seen that one.
Yeah, that was wild. That was crazy. That was so nuts.
Because this reporter's like, your parents are Scottish, and she was like, I don't understand the question.
I started watching the documentary about her, in which you see her like with her family, and it's weird because like the more you watch it, you start thinking, I mean, she's kind of doing good in the world. You start thinking like, what actually does matter? And like, obviously you're like a day later, you're like, oh no, she's crazy. She's crazy. But at the same time, you're like,
Rachel Dolezal?
I didn't watch it all the way through. I should say I didn't watch it all the way through. I only saw like the first 20 minutes, but it starts off at least very sympathetic towards her, as like showing her just as a person in her day-to-day life, so that you, without a doubt, you have to empathize with her just a little bit. Like you see her driving her car, driving her kids to school and stuff.
You're like, normal people drive their cars. Everyone drives a car.
Is she still like, I haven't kept up with the life of Rachel Dolezal in a long time. Is she still like up to the act? Is she still like trying to like live that life?
I think she's calling herself transracial now.
That was the last I was aware too. Of. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I know, but
okay, no heart, but keep going.
I'm looking her up right now, seeing like what she's been up to. If anything, okay, news.
I did think I saw her at the beach in Italy like 5 years ago.
Yeah, but that also just could have been some olive-skinned Italian woman too. Yeah.
I was pretty sure, but I was with my sister at the time, and I turned to her and I was like, "Doesn't that look like Rachel Dolezal?" And she was like, "I don't." And she looked over and she started fucking cracking up. She's like, "Oh my god, like that must be Rachel Dolezal."
Wow.
It was kind of a dead ringer for her, but. It's funny, like, to be, like, not compared to some big celebrity, but to just look exactly like Rachel Dolezal.
Yeah, that's your doppelganger. What a horrible doppelganger to have, too.
Oh, by the way, so I looked up Rachel Dolezal, and the first results that came up in news were Candace Owens blasts Hilaria Baldwin and Rachel Dolezal. So now they're on, like, just the same playing field.
Hilaria they're Baldwin on the same.
And Rachel Dolezal.
So the Baldwin thing... Is there a problem with what she's doing, or is it just like kind of annoying?
It's just kind of weird. I think it's not quite the same as like all these people who pretended to be black who are white. They were like academics, so they were like taking scholarships away from black people, right? But what Hilaria was doing was she was like, I'm from Mallorca, Spain, and I speak Espanol, but she was just like fully a white girl from.
She's just a Boston lady
from Boston, yeah.
But my thought process with the whole her thing, and forgive my ignorance if I'm wrong here, but I was like, they're white people in Spain, right?
So
yes.
So
she's white.
If she's just pretending to be a white woman who's from Spain versus Boston, I'm like, oh, you're not you're problematic in the sense that you're annoying, not that you're like being problematic. Like I find that incredibly annoying, but I was like, I don't feel like that's like a Rachel Dolezal thing.
Yeah,
I could be wrong though. I don't know. And
yeah, we talked about this in another episode, because the thing is, like, I saw a clip where she has a moment where she's like doing like a sort of like a morning show, like showing you to make a recipe, and there's a moment where she says, and you take the how do you say in English, cucumber? Like she has this moment where she pretends not to know what a cucumber is in English, and so I guess it's maybe. Yes, it's annoying, but I think it might be also like sort of like using like an immigrant status as a personality.
I see. Okay, so that's when it becomes like a problem versus like, oh, you're annoying as fuck, which is still annoying. I see. That makes sense. Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Not to mention, I think I don't think there's anything problematic about it per se, but it's just like, there's people who get like made fun of for her same accent that she's like faking.
That's sure.
Right,
okay, I see. I see. I guess I was just more like annoyed. I was just like, oh, you're probably the most annoying person in the world. That was my first. I didn't like read deeper into it
now.
I would love for her
summers
to come
in Mallorca.
I just feel for her kids who are gonna grow up being like, I was named Eduardo as if I was Hispanic.
Oh yeah, her kids' names, they're all Spanish as fuck. They're so Spanish.
How would you say Eduardo with a Boston accent? Eduardo.
Eduardo.
I can't do an Eduardo. They changed it. Wicked.
Eduardo, give me the Dunkin' Donuts. Eduardo.
Yeah. They just switched to Boston accents overnight. They all have a Boston accent. Next time they're in public.
I was just thinking like what it would be like if they now had to change all of their names away from like so Spanish, and now I'm just imagining that they all changed the Baldwin kids to Ryan O'Toole. That's all their name now. For those who don't know, Ryan O'Toole is a great Bostonian comedian who we know in the area.
He's very Boston. So that is like hilarious.
Very
Boston. They just all like become like every character from Good Will Hunting is now the Baldwin children.
What's up? My name is Rodriga. Give me the Dunkin' Donuts and get me to the Red Sox game.
Pack the car, Eduardo. See, I can't really do it. I don't even know why I try. I'm so bad at accents.
No.
It's like a weird, like, I don't really know quite what that was. It definitely wasn't Boston.
I used to live with this dude who we'll have him on the podcast sometime. He's a filmmaker, but he had like a strong Boston accent in his childhood, and now he's like hidden it for his whole life. But when he's drunk, it comes out.
Whoa.
So it's like an alter ego almost. I like That's Ryan fun. O'Toole for just soberly having a Boston accent all the time.
Owning the fuck out of it.
As if you can only have it when drunk, but he does it when he's sober as well.
From what I understood, they just all have it when they're drunk. I can't believe I heard a sober Boston accent.
Well, that's just because people from Boston are drunk most of the time. So I understand the confusion.
Right, because they're not the Yankees. Yeah. That's why. We'll get Ryan O'Toole on here to yell about this.
I want him on as well.
Bo, I feel
like
wait, go on, sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. I was just gonna say I feel like Boston and Philly are like the same city. Like they both like look at New York the same way and are like pretty similar.
Yeah.
Weird accents and stuff too.
Yeah. Well, this is a nice segue.
I can't do a Philly accent.
Me neither.
Philly. That's probably how they talk, right?
No,
Philly.
I was gonna say, did they say like water is like wooder? They say like wooder? Is that?
I feel like that's more like a Maryland accent. Wooder. It could be Philly too, because Philly's getting closer to there.
They pronounce water as beer. Am I right?
Oh. I feel bad for anyone from Maryland or Philly if I've just like smashed you guys together accidentally. It wasn't my intention.
Well, actually, our first listener submission from today is from Philly, which is a good segue.
Ooh.
This whole thing comes in from Philly. So this actually, it's not necessarily a listener submission. It's a friend of mine, I won't reveal their identity, who told me this story. And it was so funny. I was like, I have to read this on the podcast. And
beautiful.
See what you guys think. Okay. It's kind of long. Strap in. It's going to be a wild ride. Okay. This person writes, pre-pandemic, my friend Kaya, who is non-binary and uses they, them pronouns, moved in with 5 people in a big house in West Philadelphia. The house was 2 sets of couples and 2 singles, of which Kaya was one. They figured that they would never cross paths in the house because of their busy lifestyles. Kaya gave their sweet cat up for adoption so they could live with their old roommate because one of the people in one of the couples had a dog. So there's 1 dog in this house so far. However, when the pandemic hit, they were forced to quarantine together, all 6 roommates. One couple started fighting constantly and broke up. The rest of the roommates realized the girl in the couple had been abusive and distanced themselves from her. However, instead of forcing this one girl to move out, all 5 of the other roommates moved out instead. Whoa. So 4 of the roommates move in together into a new place in South Philly with 1 dog. The dog is a pit bull mix and is extremely untrained and aggressive. The owner is a very passive personality, and there's nothing worse than an aggressive dog with a passive owner. However, the owner and the dog have a great close relationship, but the dog is not affectionate with any of the other roommates. So now the guy who had broken up with his abusive girlfriend was feeling really lonely and wanted some animal companionship. Unfortunately, the dog already in the house could not provide him with this affection, partially because of the dog's personality and partially because the owner was very possessive over this dog. This dog's name is Cupcake. Keep that in mind. Obviously, it's a fake name. So the guy, let's call him Jason, decides to get a second dog of his own. He gets a golden retriever mix named Lily. The dog is very sweet, and him and Cupcake get on okay. They aren't best friends, but they can tolerate each other, as Cupcake is clearly a little dominant over Lily. Lily also gets along great with the other roommates, and all the roommates are happy to have an affectionate dog in the house. However, Jason, the guy, human man, soon gets upset and becomes extremely possessive over Lily, the dog, refusing to let any of the other roommates hang out with his dog. He says she's his dog only and no one else can hang out with her. So now the third roommate, Eve, who's going through a really hard time personally, decides to get a dog of her own.
Oh my God.
This is crowded.
She consults
so crowded.
all the roommates, and they all say it's okay, but privately express that they don't think it's a good idea. None of them communicate about their true feelings. So she gets a dog. It's a big dog, a husky named Sugar. Sugar and Lily get along, but Sugar does not get along with Cupcake because Sugar refuses to be dominated by Cupcake the way that Lily allows. So the roommates,
is like Game of Thrones,
sign the dog up for training altogether, hoping it will solve all their problems. The second two dogs do very well at the training and learn to get along, but the first dog is hopeless because the owner refuses to reinforce any of the desperately needed training. So now 3 of the 4 roommates in the house have their own dog. Only one roommate does not have a dog. My friend Kaya, who gave up their cat to live in a house they thought was going to be a single dog household. My friend gets bit twice by the first dog trying to break up fights between Sugar and Cupcake. Eventually, my friend is forced to break their lease for a second time during the pandemic and moves home. All in all, this is a ridiculous happening. And what I want to know from you guys is who you think is at fault.
Oh my God.
The abusive girlfriend. No,
yes, always.
Yeah.
I think the person who's at fault is the friends we met along the way.
I don't know. That's so funny. Like the idea that like 4 people got a dog to put a Band-Aid on their problems. They all live together. That's so hilarious.
It sounds like everyone is just a little bit dumb, or mean-spirited. Like everyone is a little bit like not realizing the effect that is going to have.
Yeah, I think there's a pie of blame, and everyone contributed ingredients to the pie. You know, like,
yeah.
Because at first I wanted to empathize with the guy who was in an abusive relationship because I had a girlfriend who wasn't great to me before in the past. So I'm like, okay, I get your story. I like you. And then I'm like, when you said he wasn't letting other people play with the dog, I was like, oh, fuck that guy. That's ridiculous. That's like, that's crazy. That's like insane behavior. So like maybe he's partly to blame for the problems in the past relationship.
He's the person I like the least. Definitely.
Yeah,
he's the person I like the least.
As the story evolved, I went from having sympathy for the guy to kind of being like, what a weird dude. And like, fuck that guy.
Yeah. What about you, Gabby?
I have my opinion. I kind of think that everyone's at fault for not communicating, but I mostly think the problem is with the guy who didn't let anyone play with his dog. Because the problem was solved.
Wild.
The problem was like this first dog wouldn't love anyone else in the house. And then this guy was like, okay, well, fuck that. I'm going to get a second dog. And then that dog loved everyone in the house. So what the fuck was the problem? This guy just created a problem out of nowhere.
Yeah, that guy definitely like contributes a lot to the problem. I also want to like throw some blame at the person. Like everyone's a little lax on their dog. Everyone loves their dog. But like when your dog is biting people and shit, you gotta lock that stuff down. Like you gotta be a bit more stringent. So like they deserve some blame too, I think, whoever had the pit bull. I'm not blaming the pit bull because it's like kind of a product of who owns you, but as a dog. But yeah, everyone's to blame in some capacity, I think. It sucks for your friend though. That sucks. That's a horrible situation.
That is horrible.
Horrible situation. I also kind of blame the fact that like instead of telling one girl to move out, they all moved out. Like just tell the one girl.
Why'd they all move together? Like why'd they all like move? Did they all
had some dramatic like escape plan to be like, let's move from this toxic person who's like being so mean in this relationship. At the same time, which I get.
I think it might be a case of trauma bonding.
Yes.
Like everyone is like sort of like clubbing together against this person, like, and that like ties you together. I think that might be what it
Like
is.
maybe she was being abusive not just to the guy, but to the other roommates too, where they're all like, we need to get the fuck out of here. Like, because it's like if 4 people are like, we need to get away from one person, that person's probably pretty horrible. But still,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's I will throw everyone blame. That's my final answer.
Except the
everyone
dogs.
gets blamed. Except the dogs. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a Shakespearean tragedy, which is why I wanted to read it.
This is very... I was thinking this is like an HBO series. This feels like an HBO drama. That's what this feels
absolutely.
like.
Absolutely.
Where just everyone's in the gray. It's like The Sopranos, but like really mundane.
Yeah, like low stakes Sopranos.
Yeah. Very low stakes.
Sopranos, but Tony gets a dog and no one can play with it.
Yeah. Before we get into listener submissions, I did have a lucid dream from a friend who wanted it used on the podcast, which is that a friend of mine, she told me that a lucid dream she had once, which is that in her lucid dream, she was in high school and she was walking around. She realized it was a dream. She took control. It became a lucid dream. She then decided to become naked and then confront every single person she was attracted to in high school and be like, ha ha ha, I'm hot now and you can't have me. And then just run away. So basically just like the sweetest little bit of revenge. And I was like, I'm happy you experienced that. That's nice.
Did she feel closure?
Yes, she loved it.
That's hilarious. I applaud your friend because every time I have like a lucid dream, I always do like really boring stuff. Like I realize I'm dreaming and then I just like walk around. I never fly or get naked or anything like that. So good for your friend. Yeah, I'll have to get naked next time. That actually sounds cathartic.
So you can lucid dream?
I've done it before. I've done it before. It's not like something I can like decide to do it. It's just something I experienced like a few times.
I wish I could experience that. I've always wanted to, and I've never done it.
For me, it kind of grosses me out, but I'm kind of squeamish about anything. This sounds so bad. Like it sounds like I'm like the stupidest person ever, but anything related to like the brain is really like disgusting to me.
Really? Like, what do you mean? Like the brain, like physically, or like what about the brain?
The way you can manipulate your own brain to do shit. Like, honestly, it's one of the reasons I've been hesitant to do like shrooms or acid. It's not because
I was about to ask.
It's not because I think I'm gonna go crazy. It's because I don't like the idea of like brain chemistry or like brain alterations that you can do yourself. Like to me, I'm like, let that shit rock. Like I don't know, man.
That's exactly what I'm attracted to like when I think of like hallucinogens, like mushrooms, like the idea of like new connections being made in the brain, I find like really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I gotta be less of a prude, I think. I gotta get more into brain stuff.
Open your mind.
Yeah, open that brain. Get into some saucy stuff.
And I say we should open our brains to a few listener submissions. And up first, we have this person who says, as people who like having sex with women / people with uteruses, what's your take on squirting? I'm so insecure about it. It's messy and a lot of people think it's pee even though it's not. I wish I could control it, but I literally can't stop. It's so annoying to have to wash my sheets every time. I know some people think it's hot, but I'm so insecure about it and think it's gross. Honest opinions, please. Thanks.
Bo, you go ahead.
First.
Bo.
All right.
Yeah. You go. You sound like you have something more concrete to say.
I think as a person who has a vagina, I think what I will say about squirting is that it's not, sometimes things are nuanced. Sometimes things aren't one thing or another thing. There's a lot of people who are like, squirting is the sexiest thing ever. I want to watch porn about it all day. And there's a lot of people who are like, squirting's just pee and it's not real. And I am somewhere in the middle of that spectrum because I think life is a rich tapestry of nuance. I have squirted before, but you don't feel that it's happening. It's like an involuntary, it's like
It's like turning into the Hulk. You just black out, and then it's
and then it's over.
10 minutes later, your sheets are soaked. You're like, oh my god. Oh, what kind of Marvel superpower would that be? The squirter.
Yeah, it would be like you would definitely be themed around like water, like a tsunami or something for sure.
I'm gonna put a tsunami on this villain. I just think it's nothing to be embarrassed about. I think it's like glorified in porn. I also think it's like stigmatized by, you know, I don't know, like I had this really mean like psych of sex professor who was like, it's literally not real. It doesn't exist. And it's just used to objectify women. And that's not true because like it does happen, but it's just like pushing a button on a game console. Like you push the right button in the coochie and it happens. So it might happen to some women more. It might never happen to some women. It doesn't really affect like you having an orgasm. It's just so neutral in my mind. Yeah. I don't know what you guys think.
Bo, what? Yeah.
So I find the glorification of it in porn like strange. I'm not like that into it. I would say I'm not into it, but I'm also like not anti. You know what I mean? So it's not like I don't sit here and like think of like it happening and being like grossed out or anything, you know, but like it's also not like something I would actively seek out. If it's something you do own it. That's you. But I would probably fall with you and say I'm pretty neutral on it, like honestly.
Yeah.
Like I don't mean to be boring, but I'm pretty much the same as you guys. I've never experienced someone squirting, but if it happened, I would be like, oh, cool. Like I would be
You would be like, oh, cool.
You'd high five, job well done.
Yeah. I'll be like, hey, sick. Oh.
Like you're at a wedding.
Yeah, exactly.
If I experienced squirting, I'd be like,
duh, winning.
That was your best soundbite yet.
That was good. One.
These are incredible. Okay, so the consensus is we're neutral on squirting. Yeah. It's fine, own it. Be the Squirtle you want to see in the universe.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would hate to think someone's embarrassed by it. So, yeah, just do you. Yeah.
Do you? Sweet. Yeah. Okay, here's another one. Hey, Meerkats, when is the right time to reveal to potential partners that I'm a virgin? Not by choice, by the way, but every guy that I'm hooking up with or starting to date gets so turned off and intimidated because they feel like it's a lot of pressure on them. I don't know if you've seen Girls, but that scene with the guy rejecting Shoshana when he finds out she's a virgin has basically happened to me a handful of times. It's so annoying at this point. Like, it shouldn't matter, right? I thought about not telling the guy until after and just getting it over with, but I don't like the idea of lying, hiding it from them. I'm sort of seeing this guy now, and he seems like he would be different. Should I tell him early on so he knows, or wait until we're getting hot and heavy? I don't want to mess this up again. Would you be okay dating a virgin and being there first? Asking for a friend, but not really. Signed, Virgin Meerkat.
That's a very good question. I have been told, like, before sex, a woman going, hey, I'm a virgin. And it never like turned me off or made me think like, oh, I remember going, tell me exactly what you want to do if you're like uncomfortable with certain stuff. I was just making sure, taking extra care to like establish consent and what we're comfortable with and stuff. So, but it's never been like a turnoff where I thought, oh, this can't happen. It's not, I don't think it's that bad at all. I don't think it's bad.
Yeah, I don't know. That is tough because I mean, if she's seeing someone, I mean, if she feels comfortable telling him, I say tell him. That'd be my thought process. Because I mean, I kind of see it both ways because I am kind of like, I don't think it's a big deal. And if someone like totally does freak out, then like, I feel like that says more about them than it does the person who is a virgin in the situation.
Definitely.
But I also do kind of see like if someone told me that like in the heat of the moment, it would definitely like I would have liked to have known ahead of time. Cause I mean, I just kind of know how I was when I lost my virginity, and like, it was something like I feel like that's something that's better communicated in advance, just so you can have like a real conversation about it rather than kind of like hastily kind of going through the motions or whatever. I think it's probably better to do it before, but I don't really know the situation that well.
I was also thinking, like, is it possible? It's just a question. Is it possible that maybe this is something that this individual and maybe a lot of other people do, is just placing too much importance on the idea of losing your virginity? That is it even something that you necessarily? No, I think it's good to talk about, like, because you don't want to pretend you're experienced in something that you're not. What do you guys think about that? Is it like too much importance is placed on it?
It's interesting you say that, because I feel like when I thought I was losing my virginity, it was like when I had a college boyfriend, and then I thought about it and I was like, wait a minute, I've had sex dozens of times, because I was thinking about all the times I'd had sex with girls in high school. But here I was telling my college boyfriend, like, oh, I'm a virgin. I've never slept. And it was because I was so brainwashed. Like, here's what sex is, you know? So from my perspective, I feel like I lost my virginity and I didn't even know it, you know, because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But
that's really interesting.
Didn't know what I was doing with sex. I thought I was just fooling around. I thought I was just having like a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true too. I was also raised Christian in the South, so like the emphasis on virginity was so huge. Whereas like again, being a different person now than I was then, I don't think the emphasis is what it was then. So I don't know her situation or even how much she cares about the like loss of virginity.
Yeah.
So I that's a tough one to speak to.
I think the biggest deal is like the experiences she's had in the past with like partners who like made a big deal out of it and reacted negatively. And that I think that I would imagine if I was in this person's position that I would be a little bit traumatized by that, you know, and getting rejected solely because of this thing that you can't control, that you'd like to change. Like it's a very hurtful thing to go through. So, but I think it was you, Bo, that said that that these are people that if someone reacts negatively, that's someone you wouldn't want to have sex with in the first place, who's like that judgmental and not somehow able to be a little bit malleable in the situation. Like that's just not the right person. So
I think it's like the dog thing. You just got to communicate. I mean, no one in that dog story was talking to each other. If I had been in that house, I would have been like, I will not have a third dog in this house. These two dogs don't, or like I'm moving out or something. If you're that person who's a virgin, you just got to be like, hey, so I want to have sex. And the other person's got to be like, all right, we'll have sex. Oh, I'm a virgin, so take it easy on me. Okay. It's like a conversation that can be had. And I feel like people are so averse to communication because nobody knows if it's okay to say anything we want, but it's actually better so that people aren't doing guesswork.
It makes things so much easier, but like the initial step is so much harder. Like it's so much easier to be like drugged by the wagon of like miscommunication or withholding of communication because you don't have to take the step to communicate. I mean, this is someone who's I suck at communication is something I'm actively working on. So I empathize with her not wanting to at all. But like, again, as someone outside the situation, I feel like it's best to communicate. But if I was in her shoes, I'd probably feel very similar.
Yeah. I think the solution is that this person's had some bad experiences with some unkind people, but going forward, it is best to be open and honest and communicate. Just exactly.
Sure. Yeah. I'm sorry, listener, that you've had those experiences. That's not cool. That sucks. That
should have consulted us sooner, listener. Should have consulted your meerkat, mommy and daddy, and Uncle Willie.
Yeah.
But if someone reacts like that, fuck them. You know, like that's kind of a reflection of them. Like I think so. I
100%. Gabby, should we go to self-perception corner or should we do one more?
Let's go to self-perception corner because I feel
let's do one more. These are
let's do that.
Well then fuck it. Let's do one more. Let's do one more. Bo's in it to win.
Right, no. We could go on. Yeah, these are great questions. I can't believe the questions you guys are getting. They're really thoughtful.
We got some cute ones from some good kids who listen. Wait, Lukas. All right, read the last one.
All right, the last one is a bit long. I'll try to read it as speedily as possible. Okay. Howdy, Lukas and Gabby and Bo. I'll share a weird phobia, but first I wanted to address one of Lucas's recent TikToks, gaming PC, but with Apple. Okay, no. Oh my God. Okay, I made a TikTok about how I wanted to build an Apple computer, but you can only do that with PCs, and Apples don't let you build computers. I don't know why.
He made a TikTok about storming the Capitol, and this listener was like, Lukas, we love you, but please don't storm the Capitol. It's not nice.
Lukas, please, white supremacy is not the answer. You need to connect more with the community. Okay, I think so now that I've gotten the Apple stuff out of the way, here is my weird phobia. I'm afraid of farting in public and having the fart come out way louder than I anticipated. I'm not so afraid of farting in public, but if the fart is either too loud or some doo-doo comes out, I will be mortified. Okay, thank you for your time. I mean, this is just a very sensible phobia that I think it's natural for a lot of people to have. I'm curious if this person has had a bad experience at some point where they were made to feel very ashamed about an accident in public.
Lukas, I think you're being a little more nonchalant than the situation calls for, in the sense of like, this person was like, I hope doo-doo doesn't come out when I fart, which like, does that happen to everyone?
Oh,
you've never sharted before?
You've never wait, Gabby?
That's impressive. I totally have.
When I poop, I just poop, I just go in the toilet.
Okay, but have you, at some point in your life, I would say in most people's life, at some point, maybe a couple times, there is a fart that you overtrusted and some poop.
Yeah.
I don't trust any of my farts, because my farts, you know what it is? My farts are really smelly. I've had farts that made Sylvie probably want to move out of this house. And
really?
I'm a really smelly farter, and I don't trust it enough. I never have a fart that I trust. So I don't shart.
It's not something that happens every time you fart.
It's very rare. But
it's happened to me 2 times. Yeah, it's like, I do relate to this question a lot, because I am like, on a scale of like being a gassy person to like a not gassy person, I definitely lean. I'm kind of a gassy person. So listener, I feel you
100%.
Yeah, So the question is like, should I be embarrassed of the phobia of farting? I don't quite understand the question.
Let me go back to it. Hold on.
But I emphasize with the idea of gas.
I think they're kind of sharing a phobia with us and being like,
just sharing a phobia, just asking
like,
for an opinion on it.
What do you think of this phobia? And I guess all of us are saying like, I think it's quite reasonable. Except me, or I'm just
I think
like,
so.
I also think this person should do like slow exposure into like farting in increasingly public areas.
Pinch a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't just let it come out, and just pinch the cheeks a little bit, and it'll like, or it'll make it more like a, it's kind of tough. Just practice at home, and then once you're comfortable at home, then go out in public, and then start farting in public, and then eventually you'll be like me and Lukas.
Yeah, this is what quarantine is for. This is what quarantine is for. Fart practice.
Learn a skill. Yeah, learn how to fart in public. That way,
we'll teach you. It's like martial arts, but the last belt is a brown belt. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when you're in public and you fart, people will smell it. They won't know it's you.
Exactly.
And that's all you can ask.
That is actually a small thrill for me, is farting like while walking on the street and just going, there's no one who could possibly know that was me if it comes up to nose
just
level.
crop dusting. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the best. It's nice.
I was going to say that sounded like a fart. I forgot you had the soundboard.
Cool.
They didn't have farts for us. They had burp. There's not enough fart representation on this keyboard.
Hey, burp is gas too.
Yeah.
Burps matter. All burps
I was about to say all gases matter.
All gas matters.
You know what? Solids and liquids, they matter too. Sharts matter. All sharts matter too. While we're at
all sharts matter. Oh wow. Okay. So Bo, we come to the relative end of the podcast. Something we do at the end is called Self-Perception Corner, where we ask our guests to describe how they think they are perceived by others, and then we say how we actually perceive you.
Oh, interesting. Oh, wow, that's a hard question. So I definitely think that I'm perceived as like a pothead kind of dude. Not like a stoner, but I think people think I smoke a lot of pot for sure, which is not true. I just am I'm just naturally kind of stoned without weed. I don't know. I guess maybe this is somewhat aspirational in how I would like to be perceived, but I think I'm perceived as like a nice kind of easygoing kind of fun person to be around. Who if someone probably thinks they could come up to me and ask me where to buy pot, and I couldn't tell you. New Jersey in like a year.
Newark, the terminal, the airport.
Yeah.
At the ports. Interesting. Okay, so Bo, when I first met you, I didn't like meet you proper. I saw you at a mic and everyone knew who you are, and I was like, this is the most popular kid in the world. Like, I was like, everyone in New York knows who Bo Ballew is, and he's so cool and he's so popular, and like he will never know my name. And then, you know, through like Anne Hathaway.
And now we're buds.
Now we're buds. So yeah, I think you started coming to Anne Hathaway. We like became buddies and
that was
saw each other at
mic. I loved your mic.
It was so fun, man. I miss doing it. And we still do it on Zoom, but it's not the same, you know, doing it in that tiny attic at the pit. It was so much fun. But yeah, I think, you know, when I started like seeing you around more, I was just like, this is like one of the nicest straight people, like you and Lukas, just like super chill, cool straight people, like unassuming. The good ones. Yeah,
I love to hear that. Yeah.
I think your self-perception of yourself is pretty accurate. Like how I first perceived you, I was like, this is the popular guy in town. But as I've gotten to know you, I think that the way you perceive yourself as just like a chill guy who's like nice and fun to be around is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's very kind.
My vibe of you, it wasn't necessarily stoner, it was more surfer. I got a slightly surfer
I see
vibe
surfer. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Like I saw you like a couple times at Anne Hathaway Presents, which I miss so much in person. The attic had its charm. There was something charming
the attic.
Oh, I miss that creepy attic so more than anything. Oh, like... disgusting. Not COVID friendly.
No, not at all. I wouldn't want to be there right now.
It's impossible the distance there. It's impossible. But Bo, you always just had this like very chilled, very relaxed, very confident demeanor about you that I was very envious of. And you, it's very similar to Gabby. Like you seemed very connected in a way that I wanted to get to one day. And then I said hi to you. Like, this is really like the most we've talked to each other is this podcast, but every single time I've seen you, however brief it was, you were always incredibly welcoming to me. You were always very kind. You were very congratulatory if you thought that I did. I was just, and anytime I saw you, you made me laugh. So I was just always like, oh yeah, he's very kind and he has the abilities as well. Like he's got the whole package. It was like,
yeah, I think that's why you might be popular is I feel like you treat everyone like they're your best friend right off the bat, which is the best way to be. Cause like everyone, what do they say? Like strangers or friends you don't know yet or something. I don't know. Maybe just Hilaria Baldwin says that in Spanish or something, but
los amigos.
Los amigos. Muy bien. But yeah, no, it's like you're
that was so nice.
Little affable dude.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for saying that. That feels really good.
Absolutely.
We want to have a feel good podcast.
Yes. Bo, please, if you can, please plug social media, anything you got going on, anything you want to promote.
On Instagram and Twitter, I am at Bobo, Bobo Ballew, Ballew. I am on YouTube, just my name, Bo Ballew. I try and put out a couple like sketches and stuff a month. Just so those are kind of the two things to plug. I'm not really doing like Zoom stuff, so you won't see me at like a Zoom show or anything, but maybe one day. But yeah, check me out on the socials. I would appreciate it, and I might follow you back.
You might. Ooh, if you're
that's
cool
dangerous. Enough. You're opening up the floodgates.
We'll see if they follow me first.
We'll see. Yeah, if they follow you first, then you follow back. But yes, thank you, listeners. Follow Bo Ballew and keep writing in. These submissions are such gold.
Yes, please keep writing in.
And invest in the stock market, I guess, or don't.
Yes.
Apparently tomorrow is going to be a day of reckoning, so it'll be interesting to see what the future of the stock market is.
Okay.
We're back to a point in time where I'm uninvested in stocks, but right now it's the revolution, baby.
Nice.
So if you're in 2020 or 2021, well, I don't know why you'd be in 2020.
If you're listening to this in 2020, you are
you are in for a wild ride. Yeah, we voted Trump out, but there was
if you're listening to this in 2020, buy GameStop stock right now. That's the first thing you should do.
If you're listening in 2024, I'm sorry about the water wars, but keep chugging along. You're doing great.
And keep investing in GameStop.
Keep investing in GameStop because it's going to be profitable.
Okay. And thank you guys very, very much. We will see you next time.